Hello, legend, and welcome to this episode of the Empowered Man podcast. Today, we're going to be diving into how to truly reconnect with your wife, how to reconnect with your children, how to reconnect in your life. If you want to improve your marriage, if you want to be a better husband, a better father, a better man for the people that matter, the people that we work so fucking hard for, then this episode will change your life. What is up, legend? Welcome to the Empowered Man podcast, where we teach you how to reconnect with your wife while also having balance between business and the rest of your life. My name is Tony Versick. I'm the founder of the Empowered Man movement, and it's time to take back your power. Now, we've talked about in the previous episodes having clarity on where you are, where you want to go, and what's holding you back. We've talked about making a commitment to achieve your vision, to have it all in life, and to let go of the painful truth and the problems that we have as men. And we've talked about taking control of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions, which ultimately means you've got your fucking power back. Now, it's only when you take control of these four areas, thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions, that you start to have a true connection with yourself, the man in the mirror. See, the divorce rate right now is 48%. It's higher for business owners, entrepreneurs, and high-performance men, managers, and men who work hard. Why? Because we sacrifice. We sacrifice so much for our loved ones. But not only do we sacrifice, we lose touch with who we are as a man. We're in a day and age where men are more overweight, stressed, depressed, anxious, triggered than ever before. There's more addictions. We numb ourselves more than before. We've got more options to numb ourselves. And especially as high performance men, so many of us wear a mask pretending like things are okay, pretending like we're happy, pretending like we're healthy, pretending like our life is great, when in reality, what we've really done is we've buried our head in the sand and we're stuck in a land of make-believe. Now, look, you might be listening to this and your life's fucking dandy and amazing. Regardless, you're going to get value. But a lot of men lie to themselves. We talked about this in the truth episode. We lie to ourselves about where we are. And I did this for years. I'd work hard for Rosie, now for Talia, my daughter. I would grind in business and I was constantly triggered and stressed. I was constantly fucking angry and I wasn't fulfilled. If I'm honest with you, despite the money and despite the success, I felt like a failure. I felt like nothing I did was ever good enough. And because nothing I did was ever good enough, I was always chasing more. More success, more money, more clients, more power, more. And this came from a deep-rooted belief in myself that I was never enough. My father wasn't there when I was a kid, and I was trying to prove something to the world and to myself, prove that I could have it all, prove that I was enough, which meant the connection with myself was terrible. I was terrible at communicating with myself. I was terrible at getting to the truth about my triggers. I was terrible at being honest about my vices and how I numbed myself with alcohol, porn, gambling, and social media. The connection with myself was terrible because I didn't know how to communicate with myself. Every time I was alone with my own thoughts, I struggled to switch off and I would want to numb myself and band-aid the problems because my own thoughts were fucking chaos. There was anxiety in my head, stress, pressure. I'd go into states of depression. So this episode's how do you connect with your wife and kids? Well, the reality is it's virtually impossible to have a long-term connection with your wife or your children if you don't know how to connect with yourself. You can have a connection for a year, maybe two, maybe longer, but you can never lie to yourself. And if you don't know how to connect with yourself, if you don't know how to control those thoughts, if you don't know how to control those feelings, if you don't know how to choose into states of happiness, purpose, joy, and fulfillment, then by definition, how can you pass those states of joy, happiness, and fulfillment onto your loved ones? If you don't know how to resolve the beliefs in your head on who you should be, what success means, if you don't know how to resolve the childhood trauma that you might have gone through, or the limiting beliefs, or the roadblocks and barriers that are preventing you from getting from where you are now, the truth, to where you want to go, the vision, if you don't know how to work through that stuff, then how can you possibly support your children in working through that stuff? How can you possibly support your wife through the stories and the problems and the challenges she might have in her own mind? And the answer is you can't. So one of the most powerful things we teach our Empowered Man clients is if you want to have a connection with your wife, if you want her to fall in love with you and desire you again, it begins with improving the connection with yourself. If you want to connect with your children and be able to communicate with them, inspire them, spend time with them without feeling uncomfortable, switch off and be present with them and be a role model and a leader for them, which I didn't have, then it starts with a connection with yourself. And one of the most powerful ways you can improve the connection with yourself is by making a conscious decision today. I'm going to improve my marriage and reconnect with my wife. I'm going to improve my relationship with my children, and I'm going to put myself first to do it. Let me repeat that one more time. I'm going to put myself first so that I can be the man my loved ones deserve. I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to invest in myself, time, money, and energy into the man in the mirror. I'm going to upgrade myself like this phone. There's a new model every single year with new components. I'm going to upgrade the parts of myself that get to be upgraded. I'm going to let go of the trauma. I'm going to invest in a coach. I'm going to grow. I'm going to put time, money, and energy into myself. And this is fucking hard to do. It's so hard to do because it feels selfish. So yeah, but Tony, like if I put money into myself, I'm not putting money into my family or my business. Yeah, that's scary. We'll spend 30 grand on a car, dropping 5-6 grand on ourselves to develop. Nah, won't do it. But if you're on an airplane and there's an emergency on that plane and that oxygen masks fall down and there's not enough oxygen in the cabin, if you don't put the oxygen mask on yourself first, everyone could pass out around you. But if you can get that oxygen mask on you first, then you can put it on your children and your wife so that everyone can breathe. We've been told as men that we have to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice the connection with ourselves to grind and work. Maybe. But why is the divorce rate so high? Why do so many men struggle to have it all? The first step is making a commitment to upgrade yourself. You are number one, my friend. You're the most important person on the planet because by definition, if you're not number one and your family's number one, your wife and kids are number one, then you will lose yourself in the process. And I lost myself. We had our most successful month in business a few years ago, and I jumped off my fucking balcony because I was so drunk, numbing myself, and I didn't want to deal with the argument with my wife, Rosie. It was only when I started putting myself first, exercising, meditating, journaling, all the things we teach Empowered Man clients, that I was able to connect with myself. I was able to see through writing down my thoughts and feelings that there was a lot of trauma, a lot of beliefs around who I thought I was, on what I should do, who I should be, what I should have. I realized that I felt like a failure all the time. I felt like nothing was enough. And I started to be able to reconnect with myself. I started to realize all the things that I got upset at Rosie for, my wife, and triggered at her about, and judgmental towards her about, was just triggers I had within myself and things I had to judge within myself. It's very challenging to connect and communicate with your family if you don't know how to connect and communicate with yourself. So the first step is getting to the truth and getting clarity on where you are, where you want to go, and what's holding you back. The second step is saying, fuck it, I'm committed. Fuck my feelings, what am I committed to? I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to become the man my loved ones deserve. The third step is taking control of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions. And the fourth step is reconnecting with yourself. And this takes time, it takes energy, and it takes effort. But the deepest relationship with your partner, full of intimacy, love, sex, joy, fulfillment, it comes from you being able to step up. Being a leader for your kids, it comes from you being able to step up. And when you're able to connect with them and connect with yourself, you will reach a level of fulfillment that you've never felt before. Most men never feel this. Some of my most successful clients make $1 million a month. They've got it all financially. They're so disconnected from their wife and their kids. They're so disconnected from themselves, doing cocaine on the weekends and drinking alcohol and smoking weed and numbing themselves. And I enjoyed all those things as well in the past. So my question to you today is, what is the connection like with your family? What is the connection like with your wife? What's the connection like with your kids? What's the connection to your friend circle, to your employees? And how does that relate to the connection to yourself? Do you know how to communicate with yourself? Do you know how to be honest with yourself? Do you know how to stop the negative thoughts, to stop the triggers, to stop the patterns? Do you know how to control the thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions? And these are confrontational questions. They're challenging to think about, let alone ask. But when you ask them, you get to the truth, and the truth will set you free. Do you have a powerful connection with the man in the mirror? Do you put yourself first, and do you upgrade yourself? If the answer is no, then understand that when you make the decision to do that, your life will change forever. And this is the premise, by the way, of the Empowered Man Method, our coaching program. We help men fix their marriage in like 2 to 4 weeks. Like guys who have been kicked out on the street, clients like Clinton, one of my clients, 30 employees, millions of dollars a year in revenue, drinking every night to numb himself. Comes home, blows up at his wife, triggered and stressed, until one day she says, you know what, I want a divorce. And she kicks him out of the house. 4 weeks after coming to the Empowered Man Method, listening to these audios, consuming our content, and coming into our program, 4 weeks later, his wife brought him back into the house and he hadn't touched a drop of alcohol. As a byproduct, he had his biggest month ever in business, 800 grand in a month in business, insane. But we didn't touch his relationship with his wife. We didn't teach him how to communicate with her. We didn't teach him how to apologize, nothing. We got him to reconnect with himself. We got him to make commitments to himself. Despite how busy he was with work, he upgraded himself, and in 4 weeks, he fixed his marriage. This is so hard to understand, but once you get it, your life will change forever. The connection with your wife, the connection with your kids, it begins with the connection with the man in the mirror. And most men have no idea who they are outside of business. Who am I when I'm not a husband? Who am I when I'm not a father? Who am I when I'm not working? That, my friends, is the golden question. If you need help doing that or figuring that out, then feel free to reach out to us. This is literally what we do. What is the connection like with yourself? Very powerful frame. I'll leave it at that for today. Have an amazing day, and I will see you for the next episode. And if you got some value out of this, make sure you give it a 5-star rating and listen to it a few more times. Now it's time for you to get access to the action plan, personalized, customized coaching, and the exact strategy we've used to help over 500 men take back their power and take back control using the Empowered Man Method. If you want to reignite the spark in your marriage, become a better father, and ultimately have it all in life, then go to empoweredbusinessman.com/group to join our free community. The link will be in the show notes, or just go to empoweredbusinessman.com/group right now to become a part of the Empowered Man movement.